Enough of that. So what's on tap for today? So I wanted to bring up a topic, or at least a couple of topics from the very first episode of the pod. Hey, what's up, folks? Howard here. It is about 9 a.m. here in downtown Frisco, Texas. Ooh, that's a nice BMW. Looks like I don't know if that's an M3 or whatever. It's a nice BMW. Walking around here, it's actually cloudy now. I've been walking around for a bit, and the sun was out and everything. Now it's all cloudy and the sun behind the clouds. But I just finished working out, hit some back and chest probably about 20 minutes ago or so. I finished. It's a little bit longer workout. I find as I get older I do less lifting during the sessions and more recovery work, voodoo floss bands and the foam roller and everything. I do more of that than I actually do lifting. My body, it's not the same as it was 20 years ago when I was a bodybuilder and I could go, we could do breathing squats and 2-hour-long sessions, and I could do those back to back and wouldn't have any problems at all. Can't do that anymore. It's too rough on the body. But enough of that. So what's on tap for today? So I wanted to bring up a topic, or at least a couple of topics from the very first episode of the podcast, and that is titled "You're Going to Fail." And I mentioned this, I think, in the most recent episode on lifestyle creep. It's hard to believe this is about mid-April of 2021, so it's hard to believe it's been 1 second. I got my knee pad still on, and knees are itching. It's hard to believe it's been over 2 years since the podcast first came out. Still hard to believe. But yeah, it's called "You're Going to Fail." That's the very, very first episode. And I guess the first thing I want to talk about is, why do I call it "You're Going to Fail"? I see some wind coming in, so if it gets picked up on the microphone, oh well. Not much I can do about that. Talk to the person upstairs. You're going to fail. So why is it called that? So the point of that is, no matter what you do in life, whether you take a risk, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and just go for your dreams, whatever you want from life, or you take the comfortable route and you stick with the job that you hate, but it gives you enough money to pay the bills. You never really take a chance or anything. You don't take a risk. Either way, you're going to fail. You fail with taking a risk, because there's going to be times that it's not going to go your way, and things don't go the way you planned, and you may lose money or product or customers, or whatever the case may be. There's a million different ways, or more than that you could fail. And I know that I think I've said it before, I've heard it before, well, you don't really fail, you learn a lesson, blah, blah, blah. And both can be true. You can still fail and then learn a lesson from it. I mean, I worked in IT, I'm still in IT, but I was an engineer, and the times I learned the most on how to troubleshoot problems when I broke stuff. Unfortunately, I broke it on customers' networks. So pro tip from a former IT engineer: break stuff in a lab, don't break stuff on the customer's network. But I learned from the failures. I failed, but I still learned something. So both can be true. Or if you take the easy route and you stick with the job that you don't like, whatever, you're going to fail because you're going to have regret. You're going to be like, well, I'll take my case. I really wanted to start a supplement company, but I was in this job it was a great job. I liked it. I wasn't really passionate about it, but I made decent money, etc. And then when I'm on my deathbed or whatever, I'd be like, man, I really wish I would have taken that chance and at least tried to start the supplement company, tried to do something that I feel passionate for. So either way, you're gonna fail. To me, and I always didn't think this way. Just pretty recently, I kind of changed my mindset. I would rather fail trying to do something that I really want to do with life than having regret at the end of my days. Or even before that, having regret, when right now, or whatever, regretting something that happened in the past, because regret really doesn't do much. It doesn't help you. But that's a whole other discussion. I don't want to get off on that. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Yes, that's the reason why it's called You're Going to Fail. So either way, we're gonna fall on our face. There's gonna be times where stuff doesn't go the way planned. So the other part of it is success. So success is very subjective. I would think if you ask most people, they would say, "Oh, God, I can't even talk. Success is making a lot of money." Sure, it could be. Success actually absolutely could be making a lot of money. To other people, it may not be that. To one person, it may be not having a boss that they have to answer to. Even though they may not make a lot of money, they may not be, quote, monetarily rich. They do something they enjoy. They work on their own terms. To them, that's success. You know what? Hey, good for them. They're happy. Good for them. But to me, in order to be, quote, successful, that's a nice cheap Grand Cherokee. In order to be, quote, successful, there's kind of two factors in there. And one is sacrifice, and the other is risks. So I brought up, taking it back to the very beginning, I mentioned risks. These are actually pretty nice little townhomes. Little townhomes here. It's like a little neighborhood behind the apartments. So the sacrifice. I mentioned this plenty of times before with you guys and gals. Listen to my podcast plenty of times before. Sacrifice. We only have 24 hours in a day to get everything we want done. So if you want to be a professional podcaster, let's say a professional podcaster, or the time it takes then to network, if you want to get guests on your show, to recording it, to editing it and everything, that's time that you're taking away from you doing something else. 1 second. That's time that you're taking away from you doing something else. You could be watching TV or going out to a party or something like that. But no, you have to sacrifice because your desire is to be a better podcaster, monetize it, whatever. So you have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice the money that you would have spent on, whatever, going out with friends to a bar. You have to sacrifice that to get podcasting equipment or upgrade your equipment or get new equipment if it's broken or something like that. So there's sacrifice involved. And taking a risk, the other part of it is there's always a chance that it may not work. Supplement company, it's windy out here, my fingers are going numb. The supplement company, there's a chance that it may not work. There's actually, statistically, it's a damn good chance that it doesn't work. But going back to the title of the episode, whether it works or not, one, at least I know I went out there and I tried. I gave it my effort. It didn't work out. Well, that sucks. But I learned a lesson. Just because it doesn't work one time doesn't mean it will never work. It just, that time didn't work. What the action I took didn't work. Change the action. Do something different. Change my marketing strategy. Maybe nobody wants the product that I'm going to sell. Maybe it's I need to do more customer or potential customer research to figure out what it is they want and then make that. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. It's just that particular way that I tried didn't work. So it's full of a risk. I have a risk that the money I spent on all this product, down the drain. Nobody buys it. Or a few people buy it. Now I've lost that money. It's possible. But again, I lost the money, but I gained experience. I learned something new. So there's a risk with everything if you're trying for success. And there's a risk even if you don't try to get success. Risk is that you're going to be regretful at the end of your life because, like I said, the end of your life or even before the end of your life, because you're stuck at a job that you hate. So you're taking a risk out of the way. So again, it goes back to what I said at kind of near the beginning of this rant that I have been going on for 11 minutes, which is much longer than I expected, is that, you know, given the choice, if I either take a risk doing something that I hate, or maybe not hate, but maybe don't have passion for, or doing something that I really love, but having a risk that it would fail, so risk either way, I'd rather take the risk doing something I love any day, because there's always that chance that it will succeed. Even though, as I said, statistically, it's more than likely it ain't gonna work out the first time around, but there's still a chance that it might. So why not just go for it? Because either way, as I've heard this before, either way the time's gonna pass by. Whether you go for what you want or you don't go for what you want, the time's still gonna pass by. Time waits for nobody. So that's it, folks. I'm gonna go back home and get ready to go look for a used car. The Batmobile IE. Well, is it IE? No, AKA. I always say IE. I think that's example. The Batmobile, AKA the Jeep Wrangler. The lease is over, so I gotta return the car. So now I'm gonna go ahead and buy a used car. So once I get that, then I'll make another video on what car I get. I'm looking at maybe getting like a Volkswagen. The wife is not really big into the Volkswagens. She's like, she heard they were bad cars. I've heard the opposite, that the more recent models are actually really good cars. But that's getting way off topic. I'm rambling here. Signing off from downtown Frisco with construction over to my right. Check y'all later, folks. Adios.